Hey everybody, how we doing today? So in today's video we are going to be celebrating my Patreon / product testers group. For those that don't know, the Patreon is basically a way for you guys as viewers to help support the QS kayak fishing channel by doing kind of like a monthly donations, and I basically will take that pool of money and I will put it towards the things that usually happen. I break stuff, I lose stuff, corrosion eats stuff, or there's just stuff that I want to try, something new that I want to try out. I have that pool of money that I could just go and grab whatever I need. So it really helps me out a lot that I don't have to think about it. If something is bad, broken, gone, missing, or I want to try something, I just go out and get it, okay? And that makes things so much easier. Then for me, the way it works is that if I don't spend all that money that month, what I do is I turn it around and invest it into the All About the Bait store. I have basically a Florida Keys specific tackle shop built on the pillars of gear that I personally used and have always used. Merchandise and equipment that is specifically used down here in the Florida Keys. 3 is, as the title suggests, all about the bait, so bait specific items. And then 4th is general sun protection, since that's such a huge thing. So if it falls into one of those 4 categories, it's kind of going to be on my website. So what that extra money does, I buy everything that I need, and then anything left over, I use it to buy new products, buy bulk supplies of my products, because I sell a lot, or invested into new products that I'm just kind of doing research and development in. Then on the flip side of it, on your guys' sides, a couple things you get is access to my Patreon only videos. I've actually geared towards pumping in quite a few videos specifically to the Patreon side for the supporters. It's not really the out and fishing ones that I just publish out there in the YouTube, but these are more behind the scenes. I've been doing a lot of all about the bait stuff, so people understand the behind the scenes on from concept all the way till release and all those steps in between. I just did a well, I'm still finishing it up, but I'm getting towards the end of it, a series on my custom made, custom designed paddle tails, and I've probably got hundreds of hours invested in that, just getting that bait out. But you generally don't get to see it except for, hey, look, this bait I've got, buy it, or I go out and use it and you can see me catch a fish with it. But with the Patreon, they got to see all the steps that go in from the concept, research and development, the kind of coming up with prototypes, testing, finalizing molds, testing runs, color selections, any design alterations, getting the finalized product, getting all the add-on accessories that go on with that product, then all the research and development for those, and then doing the photos, product photos, listing them on the website. And then what I'm up to now is actually going out and do promotional style videos for it. So you get to see all that stuff on the Patreon side. So that's one of the aspects you get. And then the second aspect you get is I call the product testers group. You can't give away stuff on Patreon. I had another YouTube person complain because I was giving away some of my products and just saying, hey, join my Patreon and I give you stuff. My all about the bait stuff, my own stuff. And then he complained about it, and Patreon said, no, you can't do that, and shut down all this stuff. And then so I came up with the product testers group. So basically the way it works is that if you are a $20 a month and higher, you automatically get whatever my monthly giveaway is. And these giveaways tend to be my new products that I'm adding to my All About the Bait store. Okay, so 20 bucks or higher, you automatically get it. Then from my $5 to my $19.99 a month people, okay, I get all their names. Then I randomly pull out 10 names every month, and then those 10 people get whatever that monthly item is. and I send those out to you guys. So that's kind of the other thing that I do. It's called the Product Testers Group. Nothing that you have to do. If you're one of my Patreon supporters, you're automatically enrolled into it, and I handle everything from there. So on today's video, I'm going to be doing for the months of April through till January, even though January's not done yet. You can see I'm way behind. Usually I try to do them on a quarterly basis, but 2023 was my 300% focus on the All About the Bait store and getting new products in, new lines and stuff. So it took up a lot of my time, so I had to kind of lay back on a lot of other things, including fishing. But I'm caught up now, so I'm going to get caught back up with these. So I've got from April to January. January, I'm going to just give to my $20 and higher, since that's a consistent group. And then my 10 people for the $19.99 and under, I'll do down on the next one, and I'll add that for my January. But anyways, let's get started. Alrighty, so for the month of April, and then you will see the names scrolling here or here, and those are the people that will be getting these April ones. For April, it is my weighted circle hook jigs. Now I've had these out for couple of years already, but what I didn't have was the full 5-color selection that I had on my yellowtail snapper jigs. I did not have the red and the glow, so just this last year I got those in there, so now my weighted circle hooks are full and complete. I have those in sizes in a 4/0 mustad circle hook, in 4/0, 1/32, 1/16, and 1/8 ounce. And then I have a 5/0 version in 1/8 ounce. So I'll be giving those out, a mixture of red and the glow. So that is April. Now May, I have a new product line, and that is Sabiki rigs. Now this falls under the bait specific kind of a pillar category there. So Sabiki rigs, it follows right under the All About the Bait store. So in the Sabikis, I've got 3 different brands to choose from. Total, there's 12 different options, and there is they go from sizes 4 to 16. So the way with the Japanese style Sabiki hooks, smaller is smaller hook. So my Sabiki ones, these purple ones, I think I have them 4, 5, and 6. These are for catching pilchards. They're very tiny. Okay, so if you're not a cast net thrower, or if you go out to catch goggle eyes or pilchards at nighttime or at sunset out on the reef or in the patch reefs, that's what these guys are for. And then my other 2, the red and the greens, are just more standard Sabiki sizes. They'll catch all the way up to like blue runners and speedos and pretty much all the other kind of reef bait fish, so different sizes there. So those are going to be for my month of May supporters. Then for June, okay, this goes back to customized All About the Bait stuff. These are my own custom design, just like the weighted circle hooks. Only I sell those. I made them custom design, and that are these. Last year, I also started carrying vertical jigs, and I did do a giveaway for those already. However, I got a massive large order finally. I did about, I think I'm on my 5th order. I would just buy groupings of them at a time so I could release them. Primarily they're for having at Esky rods in Key West. I sell crap loads of them because I'm probably the biggest supplier in Key West. Probably getting to be the biggest supplier in the Keys. I have to check with the other tackle shops. Plus I'm still growing them as we go. I still have a wall space that he's giving me, so I'm going to keep filling those up. But I do have the biggest selection definitely in Key West. However, for the All About the Bait store, you don't hear me talk about them very much because I'm still undecided if that I want to push them, because I offer free shipping, and selling lead over with free shipping is not a great business decision. So I'm still kind of figuring it out. But one of the things I wanted to do to support that, because vertical jigs are not really all that special. They're pretty, they catch fishermen's eyes, but all they are is just a chunk of lead. They really don't do much. I'll go on my own rant, but people that are, oh, you gotta have this specific lead. are full of crap. It's just a chunk of lead. You drop it down 300-400 foot, you have no ability to really change the action. There's no cool specific bite generating action because this one specific bend angle of this lead chunk with 400 feet in current. BS. Same thing with colors. All the sparkly colors, you got to have this pink with the green line down the. When you get down below 50, 100 foot there is no more color. It's just green and grays and basically another BS stuff. But anyways, got those. But one of the customized things that I saw that was not readily available, but down here is kind of a necessary, is these guys. Wired assist hooks. Okay. Now, normal assist hooks are made with basically a threaded fishing line. Dyneema, basically, sometimes they call it, or they're like Teflon coated or whatever. But they're very super heavy duty, but made out of basically cloth assist hook rigs. That's fine, but what we have down here, especially now like in the wintertime, is we have the toothy critters. So you have all the mackerels, kingfish, Spanish, Cirro mackerels, then not to mention the wahoo and sharks. So you basically what happens, you drop your jig down there, boom, and you get hit, boom, and then nothing. Okay, sometimes you just lose the whole thing. That's just gonna happen. But a lot of times you're jigging and then pop, so you get hit, and then you're all, and then nothing on it. But you have the jig, so you just keep jigging, and then boom, oh, they hit it, and then nothing. And then you're going, and they're going, and then pop, and then nothing. You're just like, am I missing all these or what? So you bring up your jig, and the hook is cut off. Because even though they use that specific kind of line, it's not hook proof, and they just touch the teeth and that hook is gone, and you're just jigging a blank jig and you're bouncing it. They're grabbing it, but there's no hook on it, so you're getting these hits, but you're not. It's like throwing a lure out with no hook on it, and you're just getting to hit it, and you feel the tug, but you don't get anything. And that's kind of the reason why I came out with these, is that they're really not available out there. So I custom designed my own, had these made. I've got them in two size hooks, a 3/0 and a 5/0 size. I've got them in singles, and I have them in double rigs, and then I have different lengths. So depending on the length of the vertical jig that you're using, you can also get the correct ratio in the hook. Because I'm custom making these are all my own, I'm able to do that. And so I have 12 different options of my own custom wire assist hooks. Bam! Oh, I'll also add that in all of these things, I'm going to be doing official release videos down the road, so don't worry about that. I'll get into more detail about these. These are just kind of throwing it out there. Next up, for the month of July, I've got my key tags. Now, I have already released one. I gave these out already, and they are my Go Fishing with the All About the Bait logo on the other side. Basically, this one was featured as probably the #1 factor in catching more fish. Okay, so a lot of people, oh, I want to get better at fishing. How do I do that? The #1 is Go Fishing. So I made a key tag with it. More experience you have, the better you become. More than any other lure and technique and all that. Just by going out and gaining experience and learning what works, what doesn't work, how to do things, how not to do things, you get better and better, and that's why it was a reminder. However, I like these and I use them a lot. I sell them for $10 each, but if you buy anything in the store, doesn't matter what, and then they go down to $5, so it's kind of a good deal there. But I wanted something else to feature my Florida Keys specific shop, and also my store as well, because this is another one of stores that I have, is Live Bait Matters. I've got it with the pilchard, and then Live Bait Matters, I've also got it with the blue crab here. I do have the livebaitmatters.com, and I do have a lot of Live Bait Matters products, so that just kind of fit. And then another one of my sayings a lot is, if you chum, they will come. And that is definitely a Key West kind of not Key West, but Florida Keys kind of specific things. If you chum, they will come. I say it all the time, so that's another one, and I'll be giving those out. And that was for the month of July. Then we've got August. August is my 2 5/8 inch paddle tail. Bam! Bam! 6 different colors. I've got the plain white. The white one is for murky waters, but also for customizing. So for those people that are going to want to paint their own and make them super 3D realistic, okay, that's what I have the white colors for. But like I said, I like white more than chartreuse because white is a natural color, chartreuse is not, and it has just the equivalent amount of visibility for those people that are fishing in murky water or want something that really stands out. White is it. But then I also have it in root beer, gold, pink, glow, and silver. So 6 colors. Again, I'll be going into more details. I'm finishing up the release on this, and then I'll have more formal stuff because this is a kind of a complex bait. But the main premise is, again, I have the ability, I'm designing this myself, so I could change anything I want. Paddle tails have been out there forever. They're really not anything much different between them, except that their tail makes excellent action. So this is one of my go-tos from when I first started fishing in the Keys. They perfectly match the #1 bait we have in the Keys, which is the pilchard. And it's a cast and retrieve. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to do any special techniques. The tail does it all. However, I wanted to modify them to make it a little bit better. So on these, I added a scale pattern, so it gives you that 3-dimensional look. I've also made the bigger, thicker back, wider back on it. It keeps it a better profile going from the front and back, as well as the razor belly, just like the pilchards are. And probably the most important out of all those is a 7mm recessed eye hole for adding eyes to it. So on these baits, I'm selling an eye kit where you get the eyes and glue to add eyes to these baits, and it really makes them pop. Just doing that. And then I also have a eye dip kit, which is the eyes, the glue, and Clearasol, which is a plastisol dip that you can dip the head in after you put the eyes on and encapsulate it into soft plastic, and that'll protect that eye from coming off. Because basically the way it's working is that you're taking a solid object like an eye and putting it on a flexible, elastic, soft plastic, oil-based material, and realistically by themselves they'll just flick off with the normal adhesive. So I add super glue to it, and it does a pretty good job. That in conjunction with the 7mm recessed eye hole, it helps it stays in. But if you really want it to be somewhat permanent, you do those and then you dip it into the clear plastisol, and then it encases it in plastic, and then it's pretty much just as part of the bait. Also can be used for total dipping if you do painting and do the 3D pictures of them. But I've got those in those 6 colors, and that is for the month of August. I'll be sending you out a selection of those. Then for the month of September, I've got the same thing, but in the 4-inch versions here. So all the same 6 colors. Here's a couple of examples. Like these are the whites with the eyes, so you can just see how much different that is in regards to how that eye really sticks out. Normally I'm not a big deal. I don't put a big deal in doing these small kind of changes because you're swimming through water. Fish aren't like looking at a stationary object where they're just like we are as a fisherman. We go in the tackle shop, we hold the bait, we stare at it, from about a foot away, clear, and we think, oh yeah, that detail, oh it's beautiful, I gotta buy this, it's gonna kill them. But then you actually think about what the fish sees. They see this thing zipping through murky water, they do not see anything. But for me, the eye sticks out. I've done a lot of testing, a lot of underwater pilchard swimming with pilchards to kind of see what I see when I'm underwater, to see what they see and what really stands out. And the eye was one of those aspects where it made it worthwhile, which is why I came up with the eye kit and the eye dip kit. But that's those there. I did a couple of customizations here. This is the adding the dark back along the back here on the silver, and then the glow here. And again, I learned that from swimming with the pilchards and seeing that lateral line sticks out when you're actually amongst them, looking at them as they're flickering. They are a white bait, but as you see them in different angles, you do see a lateral line along the back and along the side there. So I gave that option to be able to paint those and make them realistic if you really want to do that. So that is for the September, my 4-inch paddle tail. Then October, bam, my chuggers. I have a 4-inch, like a Spook Junior 4-inch size. That's a top water bait I primarily always used. But I do know that down here, one inshore at the bridges for the big adult tarpon, nighttime, the guys like to throw a chugger style. Plus they want a bigger bait because you're looking at mullet, basically what you're imitating. So that's that, 5-inch. I've got them in 5 different colors. I got the mahi color. Well, one of the other options that a lot of guys use them for is offshore, throwing them in the bait when the bait's getting busted on, or tailing sailfish, or tuna busting, or any type of like that. Throwing a big chugger will often get a bite there, so offshore it's good there. I got the mahi black back with purple, black and red, the silver and red, and then the blue and green with the red. Then an additional thing is, again, because I'm doing these my own custom stuff, this is my own store, I do know that these hooks are good for general purpose, but for big adult tarpon, that a lot of times what these are going to be used for, or offshore, getting into either a sailfish or like a wahoo, kingfish, these hooks are not going to be good enough. So I went and got 3X strong trebles, and I add those into every package. So you got the standards, and I add in the 3X strong, so you could basically swap them out to your heart's desired. I would actually leave the standard ones on for a majority of those fish because they give better hook penetration. But if you're into really big fish, something that's going to put a really torque on your line, then I would switch out to the 3X strong trebles because they're not bending. So that is October. November, this is another customized All About the Bait only, and that is my 8-inch grub. I call them my grouper rigs. Down here in the Keys, these I use specifically for bottom fishing, a lot of times grouper, but muttons and snappers and all those bottom dwellers, and that's a 8-inch curly tail grub. Down here in the Keys specifically, it's all about the glow because you're tending to work it in deeper water columns, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 foot depths, and you're bottom bouncing it. So you'll run some heavy weights with this 8-inch grub. In the current, these curly tail grubs, they flatten out and they corkscrew the tail. And so it gives a good wavy tail action with a about a 4 or 5-inch grub head. And you basically run them with either a bucktail with a heavy duty head or something like this, which is a jig head made specifically for these curly tail grubs. So when it swims through the water, that's basically what it's looking like. This thing is rotating and it's fluttering, and that's the rig right there. But in those, I have 4 different colors, glow being the specific one for the Keys. But I know in other areas, they do like the different colors. So I got the most popular ones, which is pink, chartreuse, and I always will add white because white is a natural, bright color, but still natural, like I mentioned before. So that is for the month of November. December, I'm giving away a selection of these jig heads. This is actually a new line of jig heads that I'm buying from another vendor here in the US. It's a heavier duty rig than the ones that I'm pouring. I use eagle claw hooks, and they're not really strong enough, I would say, if you're going after the bigger fish down here in the Keys. So I wanted something heavier duty. So I'm custom designing my own jig heads slash bucktails for deeper water, and they'll go from 1 ounce to 8 ounce plus. So the heavy big ones, and there'll be bucktails plus just plain ones for running with these soft plastics or dead or live baits. I've done the concept. I'm in the design process at the stage that I'm right now for those. But in the meantime, especially since I do have my own curly tail grubs now, I wanted good jig heads that will match those right now. So I've got these here. They're double the price of the ones I home make, but I'm having to go through a middleman as well. But they are the only one of the few heavy duty hooks that I found, so I'm picking them up and I'm going to use those. I'm going to have these in 1 ounce, 2 ounce, and 3 ounce versions. So I'm going to be giving those as a sample for the month of December. And then finally, January. January is not done yet because I don't know all the people that might sign up for January. So, but because I'm running so far behind and my $20 and higher group have been kind of sticking with me, even though I haven't been getting these out in regular time frame, I'm just going to give them January's because they've stayed with me now, most likely. Even if they dropped off in December, I don't care. They've been around long enough. So that is a super exciting one. This one has been going on for a long time. The bonefish jigs took almost a couple of years to finally get. This one is not quite 2 years, but it's up there. And you guys will know this one because my fly box consists of one fly. I go out with my fly rod and one fly, and that's it. And that is, I call it, or it's been named the Shimano fly. Okay, and it's basically a gurgler. The Shimano name is shrimp/minnow or Shimano. There was a guy that made this design like this many years back. This is a little bit different. The guy that I used to get these from disappeared on me. I was just buying it from this guy. Then I started tying them. He disappeared. Then I started tying them myself. So I have videos on my channel of how exactly to tie these. So I would have to tie a bunch of these up. I lose about 3 per trip. Barracudas and jump offs, or they swallow them. So usually with the tarpon, you can get, I use them specifically for the juvenile tarpon, teenagers, but sometimes you get some on the bigger side. I'm using an 8 weight with 20-pound finalized leader. So you get those bigger 20, 30, 40, 50-pound range. And yeah, it doesn't end well and I end up losing them. If they swallow them, I just cut them off so I don't hurt the tarpon. And then barracudas, especially those little ones that are always hanging around, whack these like crazy. So I usually lose about 3 per trip. So for me to tie these all the time, it's just a hassle. So I'll say probably about 75% of me carrying these was because I don't want to tie these. So I went out and got someone to make them for me. I got 5,000 of them. I've got 3 colors, 2 different styles of each one, because again, I'm customizing them, so why not? So I've got the original white, okay? I've got it into a brown with the cream feathers, and then I've got pink with the light pink feathers there. So brown, pink, and white. White is my everyday standard. Again, I'll go into more details on a release video, but the white is my most popular, not for the fish, but because I can see it and I can work it exactly how I need to get them to bite, because I am watching them, their reaction, micro adjustments they're making allows me to make micro adjustments to the fly and how I work it. And the majority of the time it's casted out there. Soon as I know that they see it, even when it just hits the water, or I put a couple little dinks on it and they feel the vibration and they look, and then I don't do anything. That's how I work it. And then they look at it, smell it, and then grab it. But the white is highly visible, so that's kind of the only reason why. However, pink and brown I always like because it matches the hatch, which is a shrimp. And then pink is just another kind of a shrimpy color. Good visibility. It's kind of in between the brown and the white, but white is still the go-to. Then I learned this while doing the prototyping and just trial and error on the build. And I was using a 2mm thickness foam for the keeping it suspended up to make it an actual chugger, top water, chug, chug, chug. Well, I used 2mm, and there's different compositions of them, and I got a 2mm that absorbed water. And it would start up on top and chug, but if I left it in the water, it would absorb water, and then with the weight of the leader, it would slowly sink. And then if I put a little bit of a pull on it, it would come back to the surface, it would stay up there for a few seconds, and then it would start sinking. And I would get hits from that because it was kind of like a shrimp sinking down and getting ready to swim down to the bottom. So I got a lot of hits like that, but I also got a lot of hits from leaving it just on the top of the water and not moving it and not having it sink down where they could look at it and see, hey, that doesn't look right. What's that? What's that? That's fake. And then going away. But if it's on top, they really can't see very much to be able to really analyze it, and then they grab it. So I wanted the best of both worlds. So I did a 2mm foam version and a 3mm foam version. So I've got the white in 2mm, 3mm, the brown 2 and 3, and the pink in 2 and 3. So 6 different options there. And that will be for my month of January. A sneak one for my $20 and higher, and the 10 randoms what I pick out I'll do next drawing. Alright, so there you go. Expect those hopefully by the end of the month. Give me some time. I just found out that I'm probably going to have to order in boxes that are going to fit these, especially for my $20 and higher. So I need to measure them up, order the boxes, get those boxes in, then I can get those started to ship out. So give me some time on that. Basically, I just usually do a few at a time when I get some free time. Just depends on the weather again. But again, a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. Hopefully you see how much it really helps me out when I'm losing stuff, breaking stuff, wanting to try stuff, etc. And helping me to grow, investing it wisely, not in hookers and coke, and investing it in All About the Bait store and kind of growing that as well. But a huge thank you to you guys for that support. If you are watching and you're interested in how to get involved with this, just go to my QS Kayak Fishing Patreon page, and it's got the information there. You basically sign up for a monthly contribution for each month going down the road, and that's all you have to do. And then I have those drawings for the $5 to $19 people, and then $20 and up, you automatically just get whatever the monthly giveaway is. So otherwise, thank you guys for your support, and I will see you next video. Bye.